In a shocking twist that has sent ripples across South Africa's political landscape and beyond, President Cyril Ramaphosa is at the center of a political firestorm after reports surfaced that an official arrest warrant has been issued against him. The development, which has stunned the African National Congress, ANC, and shaken its leadership to its very core, is being described as one of the most explosive moments in South African politics since the dawn of democracy. The alleged arrest warrant, reportedly linked to ongoing investigations into corruption scandals and financial irregularities, has ignited fierce debate across the political spectrum. For months, Ramaphosa has been under pressure from both opposition parties and disillusioned factions within the ANC. Now, the prospect of a sitting president facing the possibility of arrest has sent shockwaves not only throughout South Africa but across the globe. International headlines are already ablaze, with analysts calling this a watershed moment in African politics. Governments and global institutions are scrambling to understand what this means for stability in South Africa, Africa's most industrialized economy and a nation long viewed as a beacon of democracy on the continent. Diplomats in Pretoria are quietly preparing for the fallout, warning that such a development could drastically affect investor confidence, currency stability, and the nation's international standing. Inside the ANC, the mood is one of panic and confusion. Party insiders describe an atmosphere of distrust, betrayal, and outright chaos. Senior members are reportedly locked in emergency meetings, debating how to respond and whether Ramaphosa should be allowed to continue as leader. The once unified ruling party is now fractured more than ever, with critics saying this crisis could mark the final nail in the coffin for ANC dominance. Opposition parties, meanwhile, are seizing the moment. The Democratic Alliance, DA, and Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, have wasted no time in demanding that Ramaphosa step down immediately. Julius Malema, speaking at a fiery press briefing, declared that the ANC has lost its moral compass and that South Africa cannot be led by a president who has one foot in the union buildings and the other in a jail cell. Social media platforms are on fire with reactions, with hashtags related to the warrant trending globally. Citizens are divided, some expressing anger and betrayal, others viewing the warrant as proof that no one, not even the president, is above the law. Activists are already planning mass demonstrations, warning of civil unrest if the matter is not addressed transparently. Globally, allies and critics alike are weighing in. Western governments are calling for due process and stability, while critics of Ramaphosa's leadership argue that his downfall was long overdue. African leaders, many of whom have admired Ramaphosa's reputation as a mediator and statesman, are watching closely, aware that this development could shift the balance of power on the continent. The warrant raises pressing constitutional questions. Can a sitting president be arrested while in office? What does this mean for the continuity of governance? Legal experts are split. Some argue that the rule of law must prevail, while others caution that arresting a sitting head of state could plunge the nation into a constitutional and political crisis of unprecedented scale. For Ramaphosa himself, the situation represents the gravest challenge of his presidency. Once hailed as a reformer and a leader who would root out corruption within the ANC, he now finds himself entangled in the very scandals he promised to eradicate. His legacy, once tied to his role in negotiating South Africa's democratic transition alongside Nelson Mandela, now risks being overshadowed by a potential downfall marked by scandal, betrayal, and legal jeopardy. As the storm intensifies, South Africans and the world wait anxiously for clarity. Will Ramaphosa fight back, resign, or face arrest? Will the ANC rally behind him or fracture beyond repair? What is certain is that this moment has thrust the nation into uncharted waters. This is no longer just a political crisis, it is a firestorm engulfing the very heart of South Africa's democracy, with consequences that could reverberate worldwide.